What would you do if your car was completely dead? No click, no lights, not even a dome light. Now imagine it's late, it's cold, you're in a parking lot, no jumper cables, there's no one else around to help you. It's just you and the still of the night. Do you have a plan? Would you be stuck or would you be prepared? I want to show you something that's powerful enough for me to use in my garages every day and still compact enough for you to keep in your car. So a while back I made a video about how to jumpstart your car properly using jumper cables and some help. And I also mentioned there that there were alternate methods there to jumpstart your car by yourself without anybody. But I never really mentioned there what tools we use and how that functions. So behind me I've got a couple of things laid out for you. I want to show you what we used to use in our shop and rarely use anymore thanks to some new technology, some better things out there. So this guy out here is my big jump box. It's really heavy, it's a little bit cumbersome, and it doesn't have all the features necessarily that this even has. So this was our go-to for years. I end up replacing these probably at least once every year and a half or so. They just get worn out. They only hold so many charges, and it just hasn't been the ideal situation. Now, it's really great to have these things. Perfect for when we need to go jump start a car for a client. If we got the dead car in the parking lot, every shop's got these or something like it. But the technology has moved away from this a little bit and allowed us to go with these smaller units. You know, this thing is cumbersome. I have trouble picking it up with one hand, but something like this is much better, right? So I had gone through several iterations of these style boxes over the years as the technology was coming out. And I bought some from some of the big name brand tool companies, and they never seemed to work great. They didn't hold a charge. I only got a couple of jump starts out of them. The tools end up taking a crap after a while, so I just kind of got frustrated with them. And one day I walked into one of my shops and I saw one of these things sitting up on the bench. So I asked about it. One of my guys owned it, and he said, yeah, I brought that in because it's easier to use than this thing. He said, that's mine from home. I said, oh, really? Well, we talked about it a little bit, and then he said, yeah, we'll go ahead and give it a try. He's like, I haven't used your other one since I've been bringing this thing to work, and that's why I leave it here. So I said, well, if it's that good, then let me just buy one for the shop. You can take yours back home, and let's use it. So we did that for a while. I got a lot of experience with it, and it started replacing this thing slowly. So I eventually went ahead and bought a couple more from my other two shops and make sure every shop has one. The guys love them. They're just easy to carry around, easy to use. You can't hook them up backwards. They're kind of foolproof. So we went ahead and migrated away from these things and started using these NOCO boxes, and they've been super dependable for us. They've been really durable. They work well. As a matter of fact, they're so good, I put one in my truck. I make sure I keep it with me all the time, and I actually have my kids each have one. I've got two teenage drivers. Well, one of them's adult now, but I put them in their car as well and told them just hold on to those things because they have some cool features in there to help them, not only just if their car is dead, but it's got like a charging device built into it. If you need to charge up your phone for some reason, if they're stuck. My son likes to go off-road. If the truck's off-road and his cell phone dies or something and needs help, he's got a way to charge that back up. You know, if his car is dead or whatever. And also has some emergency lighting built into it. I'll show you here in a minute. So if you need to change a flat tire on the side of the road, you got a little extra light there at night. So it's a pretty cool tool to have. It's really light, comes in a nice little storage bag, and it's also easy to store in your car, and that's the main thing. These things you can't really carry around with you too easily, whereas something like this is just easy to transport. So easy to use, easy to transport, foolproof, and super compact. I mean, it fits the bill for just about everything. Now you probably want to know, how long do these things last? How many cars can you jump start? What will it jump start? How often do I have to check on it? And I can tell you, I leave these things in my kids' cars. They go months and months without using them. And I'll pull them out from time to time whenever I can catch their attention. And I yank them out of the car and I'll check the battery life on them. They're usually at 100%. So I make them about twice a year, every 6 months or so. I make them pull them out, just charge them overnight, put them back in the car. So not because they went dead, it's just because I feel more comfortable doing that. I can tell you from everyday use in the shop, we get probably at least a half a dozen jump starts out of these things. It really just depends on the car. But the guys go ahead and they charge them up again anyway after a few jump starts usually. So even the ones when they forget, we still bring it out to there to use it. The battery might be a little low, but it still works. So we've had really good success with these things. This one in here happens to be a bigger one. It's the 2500 amp version. They make them all the way up, I think, over 5,000 or 6,000 amps as well. I don't think you need anything that big. And we work on a lot of light duty cars, light duty trucks, and not anything much bigger than that. And this thing's pretty much handled everything that we can throw at it, you know, from basic cars and minivans up to V8 pickup trucks and even diesel trucks. So We've had some pretty good success with this particular booster. This is a 2500 amp version. Now there are some smaller ones that I bought for the kids. I think they're 1,000 or 1,500 amps, something like that, but they've got smaller cars and it's not something that we need the extra power, so I didn't see any reason to jump up to that. For the shop use, I like to use something just a tiny bit bigger because I want to make sure that I have the power and capacity for any car that comes in the shop. I want to give you a quick demo here how this thing works and show you how it's kind of foolproof on here. So the first thing, it's got this light setup built into it. So this is kind of the emergency lighting feature I was talking about. And then it's got some other settings on it. You can power it down. You can have it flash as some kind of an emergency light. Okay. So it'll go through, I think there's like 7 modes or something like that for this emergency light on here. Another cool feature on here is that it's got a USB port on it. So if you wanted to charge up your phone or something, let's say your phone went dead and you weren't near the car, or even if you wanted to, take this camping with you or something, I think you'd have a way to charge up some small devices. It says a laptop and probably anything smaller than that. So a nice feature to have. It charges by a USB cable. You can charge it through your cigarette lighter in your car. I usually end up taking it in the house. I put it in the garage overnight, let it charge, and then bring it back. Or in the shops here, we always keep them in the garage anyway. So there is a dedicated shelf for this. It just sits on the shelf and we plug it in every once in a while when we need to charge it. So I'll show you what this looks like when you hook it up. It's really simple to use. I mean, you got 2 connections and a power button. That's basically all it is. We're gonna go ahead and just put it onto the positive. We'll take the negative off, put it on the negative. And then you just turn the power on once you've got it hooked up. You don't have to turn it on first. So we'll go ahead and push the power button. And this basically just scrolls to these lights here. It's gonna illuminate that 12-volt light, let you know we're hooked up and ready to go. You go inside, you press the start button or you turn the ignition, you get your car running, and then you're done. And you can just disconnect your cables. Simple enough. And then you're done. Okay, and then everything stores back on here. It's really foolproof. As a matter of fact, let me show you what it looks like when you hook this thing up backwards. Okay, I'm gonna power it down. Let's say your kids are using it and they accidentally hook this thing up wrong. Now, if you did that with my other jump box, you'd be in a world of hurt. We're looking at blown fuses, blown fuse lengths, all kinds of things. So this one is pretty cool because every idiot on the planet, including me, can operate this thing. It's just that foolproof. You just put this thing on backwards. Now I've got negative, negative to positive, positive to negative, and you can see right away it gives you this little alert on here, and it's basically saying, hey, you can't use me yet. Okay, so it's really that simple. I don't think I need to make anything more out of this as far as a description of how to use it, but it's a pretty cool tool. So you can see how easy this thing is to use, all the features of it. It's a pretty cool little tool. I certainly would recommend that you not only teach your family members how to jumpstart their car. Go ahead and watch that video if you can, a little shameless plug on my part. I can say that I found the investment in this tool is well worth my peace of mind. I know my kids are safe out there on the road. If they need a jump start, they're not waiting for somebody stranded, and probably equally important, they don't have to wake me up at 1 in the morning to run out and give them some kind of roadside assistance. So well worth the investment on my part from a personal standpoint, and I can tell you it's definitely well worth the investment on my part for the shops here. So if you like this tool, go ahead and check it out. I'll put some links down in the description to a few of the different ones, but you can source them out yourself if you want and check and see what's available, what fits your needs. I don't think for most people you need to go anything bigger than this 2500 amp tool here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. I hope you found this information useful. Hopefully this tool will work out good for you like it has for me. We've got plenty more content. Go ahead and check out another video here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and all that nonsense. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Tried to add something in there. It was the wrong section. So what happens when you try to ad lib?
If you can read from the script.
I got to read from the script. All right, here we go.
Now give me